ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us. قُلْ إِنْ كَانَ آبَاؤُكُمْ. Say if your fathers, your sons, your spouses. Now here in this ayah, Allah lists about 8 things. And by the way, all of these things are halal. All of them are halal. Is it halal to love your parents? Is it halal to love your children? Is it halal to love your spouse? Is it halal to love your relatives? Is it halal to love your halal business or your home? However, Allah warns us of something in this ayah. He says that if any of these things are more beloved to you than Allah and His Messenger and striving in His cause, then wait until Allah brings about His decision. And Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient ones. Now there's a message in this ayah that a lot of us don't realize. And that is that the things that distract us from God are not always necessarily the haram things. The clubbing, the drinking, the drugs, the alcohol. No, sometimes they are the halal things. Sometimes they are the halal things that we take and we love as we should only love Allah. And that's the secret that a lot of us didn't learn. We don't realize what's the problem. I'm a mother, I love my children. So what's the problem with that? The problem with that is that when I love my children and they overtake and they become my center instead of Allah, that's a problem. Even though of course it's halal to love my children. My spouse, when I take my spouse, it's not a boyfriend, it's not a girlfriend, I'm married, right? You take your spouse and you put them at the center of your existence. And your life starts to revolve around them. And what you think about most is them. And what you want to please most is them. And what you fear most is them. And all of a sudden, where is Allah in the equation? That's the problem. And this will happen with halal money, this will happen with your spouse, this will happen with your children, with your parents, with your business, with your house, which you delight in, the ayah says. But when those things you start to focus on and revolve your life around, that's when you have a problem. Even though they're all halal. The question remains, how do we find a balance? Because it's natural for a mother to love her children. It's natural for a spouse to love their spouse. It's natural to love these things. Now the question is how? And this is where I want to bring in a concept which is mentioned in the book. It's a concept of what we hold in our heart and what we hold in our hand. And there's a difference between holding something in the hand and holding something in the heart. This is conceptual. But what it's talking about is this. Whatever we hold in our heart is a serious attachment. It's something I'm dependent on. What I hold in my heart is the thing I revolve my life around. It's the first thing on my mind when I wake up, the last thing on my mind before I sleep, what I think about all day, what I'm most afraid of, what I'm most interested in pleasing. It becomes the center of my world. And that thing will become my master.